Showtime Lakers were pretty good, and James Worthy was one of the Hall of Famers that made Showtime popcorn worthy back in the 1980s. Good to have you with us. Well, what do you make of this little debate with the different rules and the different eras and everything? How can you say somebody's a greater team?
You really can't. Especially when we played, it was a lot more physical. Two referees, you could hand check, and you played the game tough like you grew up. So it's different now. I'm not familiar with what I'm watching. It's small ball. You can't touch a guy. I mean, I played with guys like against Sidney Moncrief and Michael Cooper, guys who would defend. So it'd be a little bit different now. I don't think the guys would be able to execute like they are.
If you had to play under today's rules, what do you think you and those Lakers teams would do against the likes of the guy shooting over your shoulder here?
I just think we were better units than the teams now. We had specialists. Michael Cooper was the minister of defense, along with Byron Scott. We had the sky hook. I had my specialty. I just don't think it would match up with any of the teams in the 80s and early 90s. And I'm not taking anything away from the trend of small ball and the way they play, but it was just a different era when I played.
Well, James, looking at it right now, we talk about the small ball and this. You'll be obviously playing the center spot if you were playing right now. What do you like about what you're seeing right now, the product that's on the floor for the NBA?
Well, I like the fact that they're utilizing their talents. You look at Golden State, they don't need a center, even though Bogut plays very well. Ball movement. It's a lack of defense, though. That's the one thing that's disappointing to me, is that you don't see enough defense. But I do like the trend of fast ball. It's similar to the way we ran the fast break, getting it up and down. Isolating your special players. That's what I see. And the three ball that's something that I'm unfamiliar with. It's a lot of that.
It's interesting. And the three best teams I've ever seen was his Lakers, Bird's Celtics, and Michael's Bulls. And when guys say, well, the small ball, first of all, as I've been saying all night, there's two ends of the court. First of all, he had no problem playing small ball. And there's no hating on these Golden State Warriors. You got to appreciate what they accomplished. But they act like they ain't never seen a basketball player before. We had some pretty good players back in the day. Listen, as much as I like Draymond Green and everybody, I'm not sure they want to see Bird, McHale, and Parrish, or Kareem, A.C. Green, and James Worthy down. I don't think they want to see them in a 7-game series. But these guys they're terrific days. Steph and Clay are amazing. When Mark Jackson said they were the best backcourt shooters ever, I was like, oh, come on, man. Now the last couple of years, like, Mark Jackson was right. But listen, it's not about hate. It's not about a bunch of old guys. It's about, man, we have some good players too. We got a bunch of Hall of Famers too now.
James, I actually have a question. Keeping with the L.A. Golden State comparison, they're up 2-0 on the road. You guys in 1987 were up 2-0 going to Boston. What's going through their mind right now? I know that's a tough game. You're feeling confident. You got control of the series. You guys obviously won in 6. But what's going through the Warriors' mind right now preparing for this game tonight?
Well, they want to win. This is a closeout game for the Warriors. If they can go up 3-0, that's going to be a tough deficit to come back from. So you got to have the killer instinct right away. And you got to play 48 minutes knowing that Cleveland's going to make a run throughout the game. It's a game of run. So you're going to have your run in the first. Cleveland's going to come back at you, but it's got to be done on the defensive end. Golden State can score at will. They've shown that. But they got to have the killer instinct that when they're down, when they get them down, keep them down.
James, let's take you back to the 1988 finals, which is really just an excuse for us to remind people you had one of the great Game 7s of all time, 36 points, 16 boards, and 10 assists in the win over the Pistons. What do you remember about that night and about that series?
Who was guarding? Yeah.
Well, talk about guarding me. It was 3 guys. I had to start out with Rick Mahorn, then John Salley would come in. Then I had to end up with Dennis Rodman. So it wasn't an easy piece of cake, but we were determined. It hadn't been done in 19 years. We lost in '84. We wanted to get that one championship back. And we had a good unit. We monitored each other constructively. We didn't care who got what. Our bench was really good with Michael Cooper coming in and providing some defense and guys like that. So, yeah, it was a good year for us.
Before we let you go here, you're an analyst now. Who do you like tonight?
I like Cleveland at home. It's a must-win for them.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Kevin Love is playing tonight, but
He's not playing.
well, a lot of times that might help them a lot because someone else can step up. So because he hadn't fared well against Draymond Green, but I'm looking for Cleveland. They got to do it defensively. They got to find a way to play like Oklahoma did, switch a little bit. Don't let Clay and Steph, but the role players for Golden State that's the key. That's a major asset for them.
Well, it's a big game, so it's appropriate you're here. Big game, James Worthy.
Thank
with
you,
us
sir.
here on NBA.